Aloha, shalom, welcome everybody around the world, brothers and sisters. This video is about unlocking the door to continuous growth. There is a very powerful key in this week's Torah story called Vayira, and I already made a video about that particular Torah portion, as we do every week here on the Royal Path page and in the private group Shabbat Crew. But I really wanted to make a separate video about this single point because it's so important, and I would like to have this video in my YouTube files so that when someone comes to me and they say, hey, I'm really stuck on my path, I can just say, hey, check out this video. And this key has helped me again and again, and I hope that it helps you too. So again, this video is called Key to Unlocking Continuous Growth. We often get stuck on the path. And when I say the path, I mean the path of life, which is all about spiritual and psychological expansion. And we often have these times where we feel, I'm just not progressing. I feel stuck. I feel stagnant. Where do I go from here? I'm not feeling inspired. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what book to read. I don't know who to speak to. I feel lost. And this is so common. And to me, I think of writer's block because I'm a writer. But really, we're all writers. We are the living word. We are the living expressions of the book of creation. And so right away, when we think of it like that, as writer's block, it kind of lightens things up a little bit. We see it as like, all right, it's writer's block. It's something that we're going to get through. So it's both inevitable that we come to this place periodically and inevitable that we make it through. So right off the bat, considering it from this angle of perspective is very relieving. It's just a moment in time that we will get through, and it has its purpose and place like anything else. And this is the key. And the Zohar teaches this too. Kabbalah teaches this. The light of kindness is the vessel for the light of wisdom. If we don't prepare ourselves to maintain a frequency of kindness and compassion, we do not have the capacity to receive more light. Because that's what the royal path is. Tarot means royal path. That's what this path is. Again, it's a journey of psychological and simultaneously spiritual expansion, which means more light. We're drawing in more light. We're being revealed more light. The light of the Creator, the light of all creation. The veil is being lifted more and more. And it's infinite. The journey's infinite, but sometimes we feel stuck. How do I reach that next revelation? How do I draw in more light? How do I conjure that inspiration that's going to get me to my next level of ascension, right? And the thing is, we have to prepare ourselves to receive that light. We have to draw it in from our magnetism. This is why the Strength card in the tarot depicts a woman with a lion, not a man, because it's speaking to the feminine aspect within each man and woman and within all of creation. That feminine aspect is the receptive aspect. It's the intuitive aspect. And so essentially that card is telling us, reminding us that it's our feminine nature that is the strong nature in us, the most powerful, because it's only when we are open and receptive and magnetic, which are feminine qualities, that we can draw in the light of the Creator. When we're embodying our masculine energy, our active energy, we are pushing outward, not drawing in. So our intuition is really our strength. Our receptivity is our strength, because then we can allow the strength of the Creator, which is the ultimate strength. It's not even ours alone. We can allow that greatest strength to be channeled through us. and then made manifest in the world. So going back to this key, the light of kindness or compassion is the vessel that draws in the light of wisdom. Let's look at it from another angle. How could the Creator look at you when you're in a downward spiral, when you're closed up, when you're in pain, when you're in doubt, when you're in fear, when you're hurting, or when you're carrying resentment or negative thoughts about another being or about yourself? It's really all one. How can the Creator look at you in that state and say, I trust you to receive this next layer of light, this next level of light. I'm going to give you this profound revelation. Why would the Creator do that? That wouldn't be very wise. Because you're not ready to receive it, because your expression isn't saying, hey, Creator, I'm ready to draw in this light. Your expression is instead saying to the universe, don't trust me with this light, because I cannot be held responsible right now. I'm in a space of pain, suffering, separation, doubt, anxiety, whatever it is, you name it. So why should the Creator give you more light when you're in that state? You're not ready to do the Most High with that light. And the light is only given when we show the Creator, I'm going to do the best I can possibly do for us with that light. If you're holding resentment and the Creator gives you this wisdom, which is the most powerful force of creation, I'm going to give you this light of wisdom, and you're in a state of resentment, what would you do with that wisdom? You would throw it down the drain. Or you'd use it for self-gain, which would be destructive, not just to you, but to everyone. And the Creator doesn't work like that. And the universe's divine design is not set up that way. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. That's within all things. We can't be trusted when we're not doing acts of kindness, when we're not maintaining a frequency of kindness and compassion. And on the contrary, when we are maintaining a frequency of compassion and revealing that through action upon it, through being the vessel for that light to come through us and do actual work in the world, when we're doing that, we can be trusted to receive ever more light. You see, we already have compassion within us. Compassion is the light of all creation. We already have it within us. So what I'm suggesting is not that you just be that. You are that light. You can't help that. But what I'm suggesting more specifically is that you tune into that light. Remember, first of all, become aware that you are that light. And then become aware that you're a human. You're a soul having a human experience. And so we are meant to do something with that light. We already have it within us. But now we have to act on it. We have to become the vessels for that light to move through us and be made into something in this world, to actually do healing work in this world. So it's not just good enough to carry that light. We do that effortlessly. What it takes is effort. We came here to put forth conscious effort in directing our will to do acts of kindness, to do something with that light. In this way, we show the universe and the Creator, hey, I'm willfully and consciously participating in this process here. I'm making the effort with my conscious awareness to willfully participate in this ultimately bringing of heaven to earth. So when we do acts of kindness, that's why it's not just good enough to be kind. You are kind inherently. You are. Humans are inherently kind, despite what you see in the world today. And despite what you sometimes feel in your own heart as separation or pain or suffering, we inside know we're one. We inherently are kind. And now we got to get everything that's in the way of that kindness out of the way. Lift it to reveal what has always been there and what always will be there. What is here in you, in me, in the one right now. Right here, right now. So that's why we say acts of loving kindness are the vessel to receive the light of wisdom. We have to act on it. When we take action, we're proving, and not just one action. I'm not just saying you do one good deed. That's not what I'm talking about. Let me be specific. Consistent good deeds every day. Every day. Don't stop. You don't want to just do one thing. You definitely don't just want to do one good deed and say, okay, I did it. That's like, let me put it into perspective for you. That's like a child saying, all right, you said if I do all my work at school that I can have an ice cream. And so they do their work one day and they come home and they say, I did my work, and they expect that ice cream. I would suggest that instead of just giving up the ice cream, you say, all right, let me see you really prove it to me. Let me see where your motivation lies. Let me see that you're not just doing it for the ice cream. Let me see that you really understand the concept and that you're going to keep it up. Don't just do it once. Let me see your drive. Let me see your will. Let me see your passion in this mission. Let me see understanding move through you as you stay consistent in this mission. Okay, you could see the Creator like a mother. The Creator's the mother and you're the child, and the Creator says to you, I can't trust you until you show me that I can trust you with this responsibility, because that is what the light of wisdom is. We can't sit here and say, gosh, I want to ascend. I want to ascend. I want to transcend all my problems and just continue to be the spiritual master. First of all, the process is never ending. It's continuous. The work is never done, first of all. Second of all, with that power, right, with great power comes great responsibility. And don't forget that. When you ask for more light, when you ask for another revelation, know what's coming. It's not just rainbows and butterflies. It's depth, it's power, it's force, it's lessons. It's sometimes pain, comes with pain. Sometimes joy, sometimes pain. That's not the point. And so when we ask for more light, may we simultaneously carry the remembrance that we're asking for responsibility with that light. In fact, carrying that remembrance as we ask for more light ensures that we're going to receive it. Because when we tell the Creator, or you tell Mom, right? If you give me this thing, I promise I will do powerful things for us. If you give me this thing, I'm going to use it wisely. God, if you give me this light, I'm going to use it to do your will. I'm going to use it for the sake of the goodness of all life, of all creation, for your sake. When we pray like that for the light, the Creator says, oh my goodness, rush this light over to this person right now. Just Creator's heart just opens up. It is the key that unlocks that lock in the heart of the Creator and in your own heart. It just immediately takes out whatever's in the way of the light between you and the Creator, which is really just in your mind. It's an illusion. You see how it's different from going, God, I want to ascend. I just want to be super spiritual and I just want to have all the wisdoms. For what? The Creator says. For what? It's all about your why. What's your intention? Life serves life. When you support the Creator Creator supports you. When you support nature, when you support the earth supports you. When you support truth, the truth supports you. When you become a voice for and a vessel of the truth, all of a sudden, as you're speaking this truth, the trees begin to sway with your hair and your eyes light up as the sun lights up, and you move as one with the elements. And you are such a beacon of light, life, love, and truth that the whole world supports that in you and harmonizes with you, because the forces within you are in harmony, and so the forces without you also are in harmony. And everybody who witnesses you goes, wow, I see the example of harmony within you. And it's beautiful, and I want to be that too. And this is how the domino effect happens, and we inspire everyone to be in that harmonious space. Okay, so again, going back to this prayer, when you ask for the next stage of your journey, for the next stage of your growth, you have to understand these concepts. It's so important. You can't just ask, give me more light. Now you sound like a greedy baby tugging on the skirt of the mother. when the mother's trying to feed all the other kids too. And what is this entitlement? What's going on here? And this is a huge disease within the collective mind. It's time to graduate, humans. It's time for us to graduate. No more taking from the mother, taking her resources, exploiting divinity and innocence. It's time to give back, to nurture that which has nurtured us. Just like a mother growing old, she cared for you, care for her. Just like a father growing old, he cared for you, care for him. It's time for us to graduate. That's what's happening here, in case you didn't know. And so with that in mind, the next time you pray or ask for illumination, revelation, spiritual, or any other kind of inspiration, make sure you give it a real good reason and tack it on there in your prayer. Speak it out loud, or at least in your mind, or write it down. Be very intentional, because your intention is everything. Life supports life. So if you ask for that illumination, and the creator or your higher self or whatever you want to call it detects that you're asking for this light so that you could be self-serving, so that you can just get temporary comforts or temporary satisfaction or material pleasure, you're not going to get that light. But instead, when you ask for that light, you make it clear what you're going to do with that light. Then of course it's going to come rushing into your heart. You're going to recognize that it was there all along. It's going to just be activated within yourself. And you will have everything you need to complete that mission you said the light was for. And I have friends that say, how do you stay happy all the time? Like, how do you stay happy even in the face of challenge and adversity? How do you carry a positive attitude? Why is your life so magical, Rebecca Magic? And I genuinely believe it's because I have tied my purpose into the work that I do on a daily basis. And I ask the Creator for more light always, but I am certain that when I'm asking for this light, I'm also letting it be known just what I'm going to do with that light. I'm going to share this light. I'm going to use this light for us and for you, God, Source, Hashem, Creator, Allah, Great Spirit, Higher Self, Krishna. I'm going to take that light that you give me and I'm going to multiply it. And so I believe that this is my secret. And this is the secret that the Torah talks about this week in this Parsha. It's like, I'm letting the Creator know I'm going to multiply it. What you give me, I'm going to give back infinite fold. And so the Creator trusts me and I trust the Creator, and it's a relationship and it's a bond, and it's always deepening with each exchange of light. Just like any relationship deepens as you prove that you can be trusted. So when you do those acts of loving kindness consistently, what you're really doing is effortlessly praying to be given more light. Every good deed you do is a silent prayer for the Creator to bring more wisdom into your life. So beware. Don't be doing good things out there in the world if you don't want to be receiving the wisdom. But we all want that. That's why we're all here. We want to receive more wisdom. We want to receive more light. We want to feel good. We want to feel purposeful. We want to feel joyful. That's why we're here. Of course, we want to bring heaven to earth. And it starts with self. And drawing the light into the body, drawing the soul into the body. We all want that. So be careful not to make too many boundaries. This is my next point that I wrote down here on my little list. Be careful not to set too many boundaries. And this is a huge issue within the New Age collective in particular. Boundaries. Everyone's all about their boundaries these days. But did we forget that we're here to break down the walls too? There's always a balance. There's always a balance, and we need both. And sure, sometimes you're going to have to set boundaries, but don't forget that growth happens outside of the comfort zone. So be careful that you don't set up too many boundaries as a defense, as an act of protecting yourself. Because what you end up doing is walling, blocking, closing yourself in. You build a wall around yourself. You think you're setting up this wall so someone else can't get through, but really what you're doing is putting up a wall so that love can't get through, and love can't get out either. You trap yourself. So be careful that you don't do that. Be careful that you don't build up the walls around you out of fear of facing the work that you actually need to do to reach your next level. And then you've built up this wall out of your 5,000 boundaries you set this week, and you go, I feel really stuck this week. I don't know what's going on. It's like I'm not receiving more love in my life, or I'm not receiving more blessing, or I'm not receiving more light. And there's no one to blame but yourself, because you've built all these no wonder you've built all these walls. You know, growth happens outside of our comfort zone. Don't forget that. And so a lot of healers and empaths, and you know, we talked about this recently in the video on empathy and how to hold space for friends when you're an empath. Another really good talk there. We spoke a little bit about boundaries and how so many healers and empaths will become exhausted after some efforts in service, or some efforts in helping someone, helping a client or helping a friend or family member. They feel drained. But right away, that's a red flag, because you've got to know you're connected to an infinite source of energy, of life, of light, of love, of truth. And if you're constantly exhausted from doing one good deed here or there, you really got to look at yourself. It's really time to look within to your own programs. Don't be helping people until you could help yourself. Remember the one most important truth, that you are connected to an unlimited source of energy. If you don't have that locked in, you can't go to progress through the rest of the story. It's just like the tarot. You start with the Fool, the Zero, the lens of focus, the perspective through which we must view the rest of the cards in order to reach the deepest levels of initiation within each one. If we don't see through that Fool lens, we will miss out on key aspects of each of those other characters. It's the same thing. If you don't have that absolute faith and trust that you are connected to an unlimited source of power and potential, do not try to help anyone else until you help yourself get there. And I mean really get there and stay there, lock that in, because that's the space we want to live from. That's the space of unity within the heart and within the mind. It's unity consciousness. If you don't have that locked in, because think about it, if you're an empath or a healer, you think you're helping all these people all day, but then let's say you do like 2 readings a week, or 2 Reiki sessions a week, or whatever it is that you do, or I helped one friend this week, but I'm exhausted now, I need to go take a vacation. You're forgetting that you're connected to this unlimited source of potential. And perhaps even more deeply, we can see that you're living a delusion, because you're saying, I helped this person, I healed this person, but you did not. The Creator did that through you. And you're like, I know, but no. You got to know it and then live like it, really act like it, and align yourself with that knowing and that truth. If you really know it's not your light alone, it's not your power alone, and you really are humble in the eyes of the Creator, and you know that it's that source you're connected to, that's that light is coming through you and doing the work. If you don't know that, you're bound to fall into a state of separation, egoism, power trip, and then exhaustion. Because what happens is you lie to yourself in your mind, and you tell yourself that it was all you that did that. And although it's coming from what you think to be a good intention, a space of good intention, it's actually on a deeper level creating a delusion within your mind. You start to think that it's all you doing the work. And so then it's no wonder you feel drained. But the greatest healers across time, and the greatest prophets and righteous ones, tzaddikim, the greatest ones, were the ones who would help when they had nothing to give. The ones who would help when they themselves were in a weak or painful place. Just like in this Torah story, it's when Abraham was in a lot of pain. Described he had a circumcision. It was the most painful day of his healing process. 3 days in, 3 was a reason as well. There's numbers for numerology, and it was also a heat wave. And he was also in meditation with the Creator, to keep himself comfortable and to connect with God, right? And he got a knock on the door, and it ended up being 3 men who turned out to be angels later on. But he jumped up to be their host. He jumped up out of his meditation. He said, sorry, God, I got to go do this. Because what's more important than your meditations and your relaxations and your recuperations is being of service. Because that's what literally draws in the light of wisdom into our world through you. And while you think that you need to go take a spa day after helping one person, you're so exhausted, what you really need to do is keep going, keep building. You're so exhausted from what? It wasn't even you that did the work. Did you forget that? Because your level of exhaustion is reflecting really your level of doubt in the Creator and in yourself, in your ability to channel that power of the Creator. And yes, we are human, and sometimes we need to set boundaries, especially if there's danger involved, of course. Or if you are genuinely getting sick and I need to recharge. Okay, but really, come on. Come on. You are so much stronger than you think. You are so much stronger than you've been making yourself out to be. Why do you play so small? Do you think we're going to grow stronger in patience, in trust, in honesty, in forgiveness, in any of the virtues? When we say, oh God, I did one virtuous act, I need a rest now. That's not how we build. And same for the virtue of kindness, which is the most important one. It is the virtue of compassion, which is the all virtuous light. It contains all the others. Do you think that you can do one act of kindness and then you need to take a vacation? Is that how we're going to grow? No. Like any habit, it takes momentum. It takes persistence. It takes effort. It takes conscious direction of our willpower, of our mental power, of our emotional power, of our physical abilities. It takes consistent effort to build the light of any of the virtues, to form any habit. So what makes you think that after doing one good deed, you should go and reward yourself for that? Or you should go and relax now for a week. Okay, the light of kindness is like a vortex in the heart. Okay, to give you another angle of perspective. And when you activate it, by doing action upon that light that's inside, it goes from stagnant to spinning, to activated. It starts to spin. The wheel starts to spin, and that light opens and it grows. But when you then take a rest, you do one act of kindness and then you rest for 3 weeks, that light just closes back up. The wheel closes up. It's still there, but it starts to close up. So when we do consistent acts of kindness, it keeps the wheel spinning. It builds the momentum, and the light shines brighter and brighter, and it becomes a great force in this world. Because that light spins and expands, and guess what that light reflects? The light of the Creator. That light of kindness, that light of compassion is the original light of all creation. It's the all virtuous light of the Creator. So essentially, when you open up that vortex of your heart and that light shines, you become a lighthouse, a beacon. Not just for the world, but also for the Creator to shine light back to you in reflection, reciprocation. The Creator goes, oh, I know where my tzaddikim are. I know where my righteous ones are because I see them shining like a freaking lighthouse across the world. So you're easy to identify, the Creator says. And the Creator says, thank goodness you're easy to identify because I want to keep feeding you light so that you can keep feeding it to the world, because this is the beauty and the intelligence of the creative design back of all things. Okay, so you create this vortex, it opens up, and just as you emit that light of compassion, then a light of wisdom comes in. It's a constant reciprocation. Another thing is, you might ask, I feel stuck And I want to do acts of kindness because I'm now recognizing the importance of that. I recognize that that is the way to receive my next revelation. So how do I do it? How do I just start doing acts of kindness? And there are so many ways you could do it. You could just look through your text messages and see someone you haven't messaged in a while and just reach out and say, hey, how you doing? Because first of all, nothing's random. And chances are they're going to say, wow, I was just thinking about you, or wow, I really needed a friend in this moment. And so you will get the gift of service, serving someone, but also recognizing more synchronicities in your life, which feels good, because what that does is it opens your consciousness up to synchronicities that are always happening, and then you start to recognize them everywhere. So that's right away a gift to you. You can also call someone up, somebody you haven't spoken to in a long time, or just pick anybody random. How are you doing? People need somebody to talk to. Everybody needs an ear. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. They may have some problem that they've been wanting to get off their chest, or they may just want to feel heard. They might just want to be acknowledged and have the space held for them to just speak. Maybe no one ever asks them how they're doing. You can go find someone who's hungry, or maybe you don't want to go looking for a hungry person. Maybe there are no hungry people on your streets. I don't know where you live, but let me know, because that's amazing. We got a lot of hungry people in the world. But let's say you don't want to go out there. Reach out to a family member. Hey, can I cook you a meal tonight? Whatever. There are so many things you can do every day. It's so easy. Ask me. I'll help you. I'll help you. We'll think of ideas together. Join my private groups on this page. It's linked to this page. The Royal Path and Shabbat Crew. We'll help you. We're a community. All of us, brothers and sisters, we got each other. We'll help you get the inspiration. So first of all, you get to witness synchronicities within those opportunities, but also something really powerful happens. You get out of your own story. Because when we become stuck on the path, we're so stuck in the material entanglement of the details of our lives, the mundane details of our lives, that we feel so like we're drowning in it. So when we just say, okay, I'm going to forget about this and help someone else and focus on someone else and be a space holder for their journey, it gets you out of your own head. It breaks the cycle right there. And what's more, but wait, there's more. Through helping someone again and again and again, you self-reflect, you self-realize. It leads to self-realization. You get to have these beautiful reflections of yourself in the highest way, because it's your loving kindness in action. It's your highest light. In fact, it's God's light. It's the light of the Creator coming through you, and you get to reflect on that. Doesn't that feel better to reflect on that instead of your negative spiraling all day into anxiety, fear, doubt, whatever? Break that, help someone else, and in helping someone else, you help yourself, because we are literally one. And when you do it again and again, you start to go, wow, I'm observing that I'm doing all these kind things. I'm kind. I am love. I am so capable. I'm more than capable. I am love. Look at how I can hold space for someone. Look at how I make them feel better. Look at how I contain that power within me, because it's coming through me from source, direct. And there's an infinite amount, ever abundant. I could tap in anytime. Oh my God, this just keeps getting better. So what happens when you help others and do acts of loving kindness consistently is you activate your purpose. So if you have a friend who's suicidal, if you have a friend that doesn't want to be here anymore, if you have a friend that's constantly anxious or in fear or separation or any kind of suffering, tell them, go do a good deed. Call up someone else. Get out of your own head. It's literally the way. And if someone's like, oh, I'm not capable of doing that, everyone is. In fact, trust me, do it and you'll feel better right away. Remember, if you want to progress, you have to do this. You have to do acts of loving kindness. And it's not just for the other, it's for you, because we are literally, scientifically, factually, one consciousness, one being even. You ever heard of the Gaia theory? Look it up. Call it what you want, but it's real. It's real. Oh, it's realer than real. So know this. Doing acts of kindness, just picking up the phone and calling someone, letting them just speak, even if it's not about a problem, just being a listening ear, whatever it is. Go, play with a child when their parent doesn't want to play with them and they're too busy with their boring work. Whatever. There are so many different ways to get out of your own head and to start reflecting on your higher qualities, which all involve invoking the light of kindness. That's all of our highest light. We share that in common. So when we express that, we self-reflect, we self-realize, we ignite our purpose, we activate our highest selves. Gosh, I could keep going on this topic because it's so important, but really just remember, in summary, you are the rainbow bridge. You're literally made of the original white light of creation coming through the prism into the colors of the rainbow. You are that. You are rainbow spinning light, babe. You are the rainbow bridge between realities. So be the bridge for wisdom to enter the world. Be the vessel for that wisdom to enter by preparing for it, becoming the magnet for it, simply by consistently performing acts of loving kindness. That's the key. It's the secret to unlocking continuous growth in all dimensions. As with one, so it is with all. Thank you for being that bridge. Thank you for being kind.